Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Living Your Juiciest Life Ever, the program where we have amazing conversations with women that have come from a place of self-less to self-full, a place of having no voice to having a voice, somewhere else to somewhere now that has stepped them into living from a full place, from a full cup, and they are ready to share their journey and their experiences with you so that you can believe that you can live from that place too. So I want to welcome today our guest, our special guest for today, and her name is Jessilyn Perrson. And Jessilyn, she spent 20 years in the corporate and public sector. And then this visionary woman decided to leave her highly successful career as a project management professional. And she became one of the founding members of Legacy Global. And she's going to tell us more about that. She's also a founding member of MUPO Entertainment. She is a real estate investor, a speaker, and an educator. By using her strong prowess of leadership, expertise in financial education, and real estate investing, she educates and supports women to create a vision and a plan that can transform their life. So, with all of the experience that she has gained and finding her own voice and claiming her own power and her own decisions and trusting herself, she now in turn has turned that into a place, a business of heart and life of promoting and supporting other women to do the same thing. So welcome, Jessilyn. So nice to have you.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for the great introduction.
You are welcome. I always do a little bit of a rewrite and sometimes an expansion of what it is that's written. It's really exciting to have you here and how it is that you help women financially. I'm very excited to hear that, but also from reading some on your website, that this journey is a heartfelt journey, one where we have to dig, one where we have to expose that which has been hidden for a long time.
That is correct.
So one of the things that you said was in trusting self, and you did not, then owning your decisions, and you were letting others actually make decisions for you.
Correct.
And then to take action. Now, these are not necessarily easy things to do. No. So what was going on for you that, first of all, the recognition of not trusting yourself, what was going on for you at that time in your life?
I think there's always a multitude of things when you're involved and you're caught up in something. So I was in a contract in 2019 that I gave it my all, and I was making incredible money, but it almost broke me, to be straight. When I ended that contract, I think it was 2 months it took me to recover, and recover meaning I barely left my house.
Wow.
Which isn't me. Like, I'm a social butterfly. Like, let me be free. And I knew I wasn't feeling the best, and I knew I was losing hair and I was losing weight, but I just thought, it's stress, and stress does do that. But stress past the point of stress gave me what they call aura migraines. So I was suffering from, I couldn't have bright lights. I couldn't be on a computer. I couldn't have loud noises. And I was going to doctor after doctor trying to figure out what it was, because of course I had no idea and it was new to me. And then I found another doctor who said it's migraines. And I'm like, no, doc, like, I don't have headaches. And that's when he explained to me there are other symptoms. And sure enough, that's what it was. And now my body tells me right away when I'm getting too stressed. I instantly start getting like throbbing behind the eyes. My ears start hurting. I have to turn everything down. And so it's almost, I don't want to say it's a good thing, because it's really not, but the fact that I know that trigger now, which I didn't have before. And obviously I pushed myself too hard. So my body was shutting itself down, because I wasn't listening and I wasn't doing it. So it did it for me. So that was where I really went, okay, enough. What do I need for me and my family? What makes my heart happy? Because like I said, I was making good money, which was what I thought would make me happy. I was miserable, so miserable.
Mm-hmm.
So I really analyzed it and went, okay, what's my passion? What do I love doing? If I could do anything, what would it be? And when I dug into that, I kind of went, wow, oh crap. Because hasn't been any of my careers, it hasn't been my past. And I'm like, am I going to start again? And I say start again because I've had a couple of careers, right? I was in business, and then I switched over into project management, and those were all like, they're stepping stones. You start from the bottom, work your way up. And so here I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. But it took a lot more than just that, because you have your self-doubts, right? When you're going, I'm passionate about this, and you're going, yeah, but how do you make money doing that? And who's going to want to hear that? And, and you're going, oh crap, right? And so it was like, I take some courses, obviously ongoing training, and I have a couple of coaches. But when I realized that I always knew I loved people. I love being around people. But when I realized I was passionate about actually helping people, like I want the best for people. And I think that is where I fell a bit short of myself, is I kept giving everything I've got to help people and not necessarily getting it reciprocated, which just kept draining my energy and me. But now realizing how I can help them. So helping them help themselves as opposed to, I guess, doing it for them.
Mm-hmm. There's a big difference between what came up for me and what you said, that was saving people or helping them.
Yep.
So when we're in a space of saving people, we're doing it for them, we're dragging them along, we're wanting it for them more than they want it for themselves, and if they want it at all.
Yes.
So it's really learning to let go.
That's a big one. That's a hard one.
Yes, very much so, especially when you're coming from a place of really wanting to help people. And I think it's so easy to see from the outside in what is going on, as far as what is going on for people, that they're not necessarily ready for you.
It's true. It's so true.
That's very interesting. So I'm sorry about that. Would you have a little glitch there? And just want to make sure that we are getting sound through.
I can hear you.
Yeah, it's the recording part of it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not hearing it. Again, I spoke about editing, and guess what I'm going to have to do?
I know. I was just thinking that. I'm like, well, there you go.
And didn't I? Pause the recording so I don't have to do too much. Hold on. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Living Your Juiciest Life Ever, where we have amazing conversations with women that have come from a place of selfless to self-full, from a place of serving others to beginning to actually own and serve themselves so that they can live from a place of a full cup, to own their voice, to claim joy, and to live in their own unique expression, bringing that space of full living to the world so that they can inspire you and me to live from that juicy life and to amplify where it is that we're living from. And today I'd love to welcome Jessilyn Perrson to the show. She is an amazing woman that has actually accomplished so much in her life already. And she's just taken on a new inspired action. So we're going to hear about that today. But she spent 20 years in the corporate and public sector. And this visionary woman decided to leave her highly successful career as a project management professional and became one of the founding members of Legacy Global. She is also a new founding member of MUPO Entertainment. a real estate investor, a speaker, and an educator. By using her strong prowess of leadership, expertise in financial education, and real estate investing, she educates and supports women to create a vision and a plan that can transform their lives. So, this place that she has come to and what she has experienced, she's now living and helping other people to live that from that place of fullness and joy in their lives so that they can live from that juicy place in their life. So welcome, Jessilyn. Thank you so much for taking the time and being here with us.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor. Can't hear me? Okay, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, we're both.
Okay. Here we go again. I'm going to have fun with this one. Holy cow. Okay, so I am just going to do this. Completely unplug from my expensive system. Thank you, Jessilyn, for being here today. Really appreciate you taking the time out to spend with us today and sharing your journey.
Well, thank you for having me, Kate. It's an honor being on your show.
Thank you so much. I have to laugh, and I want to share this with all the audience out there. I spoke of having technical difficulties on one other program, and I shared that with Jessilyn before we started the program, and now we've had multiples of things that have actually happened. So we're going to clear all of that away.
Yes.
Shake it off, and we're moving forward. Okay, we don't need to go into the details. There isn't any sense of that. So
No.
as I was reading and actually looking at your website, there's a few things that popped out for me because I know that your journey and your reason for doing what it is that you do is because you really want to make a difference. And your desire is to actually help other women because of the challenges that you had.
Yes.
And one of the things that the few of the things that stood out for me on your website that I think are really important is that trust is super important. Trusting self. And you spent a time in your life when you recognized that you didn't trust yourself.
Yes.
So let's start there. What was going on at that time? And when did you realize that you weren't in that place of really being grounded in your heart?
So back in 2019, I had a contract I was working on as a project manager, and I was giving it my all. I was working very long hours, and I got to a point where I was not doing well, like physically, my health. And so when my contract ended, it took me 2 months to recover. And when I say recover, I mean, I was barely leaving my house. Like I couldn't move in a vehicle because I would get nauseous. I was getting, I couldn't have lights. Couldn't have sound. So I was pretty much like a hermit, if you will, like in bed, up with lights down. And when that happened, I went, what did I do? Like, how did I get this far to put this much, I don't even know the right word, on my body, I guess, that it shut itself down. And so I knew I was stressed. I was losing hair. I was losing a bit of weight. And I was like, okay, I've been there before in other projects. And so I just thought it was kind of this me, right? But then when I started getting this real not well feeling, I started going to a few doctors and they couldn't figure it out. And finally I found one, a new doctor I'd never seen before. And he said, it's migraines. And I'm like, I don't have headaches. And he said, well, there's other symptoms and there's other type of migraines, and it's called the aura, where it is like the throbbing behind the eyes and the severe sensitivity in the ears. And so I went, okay, this is not cool. It's not cool losing a couple months of my life. I have little guys as well. And I've realized since then, every time I start to get too stressed out, my body instantly goes into those migraines. And I know right there's a trigger. I need to stop and look at what I'm doing and get rid of the stress. So as much as it wasn't a good thing to experience, it now gave me a flag, if you will, to tell myself, because obviously I wasn't willing to admit that I'd gone past the point of stress recovery. So my body chose to do it for me, and it did.
So what was it that you weren't trusting in yourself?
I think it might have been a combination of things. So when I started that contract, I initially started with, I think it was 8 projects and one just kind of offside. I'm not going to call it a project because it wasn't big. I'm a really good project manager, so obviously I can manage all that. But it wasn't in the industry I was as familiar with. So of course there's a learning curve. And I was working 50, 60-hour weeks and I couldn't do it. I could not do it. And so firstly, my ego wasn't letting me say I couldn't do all these. Firstly. And so I did reach out to one of my dear mentors who I had in project management. And he says, Jess, a good project manager has 3 projects, 4 max. And I'm like, oh, so I'm not superhuman. I get it. Okay. So I had to start giving some up, which was okay, but I didn't give up enough. And it's not that I didn't try, just the contract and the company I was in just wasn't the right fit for me. And that was another challenge I had, because it's always like, again, I don't know if you want to call it ego, but it's like, no, they'll figure it out. I can help change them and make them realize like this is the proper way to do it. But no.
Banging your head against the wall.
Yep.
Yeah. So then the next piece of that, which is beautiful, a beautiful fit, and that is owning your decisions, and you were living in your life and letting other people create your decisions for you.
Yeah.
And I don't think that either one of these is an uncommon thing, which is really why I wanted to spend some time on it. So first of all, it's learning to trust yourself. So I think that I know that there's some practice things there, and it's reconnecting ourselves with our intuition and actually listening.
Yes.
That's so valuable. And then automatically confidence starts to rise again, because there's a knowingness that shows up.
100%.
Yes. So in the transition of going from a space of having someone else make your decisions to making your decisions, was that a personal life thing, or was it personal and professional, or was it just professional?
Oh, it was definitely both. So when that contract ended, it was in October, and I spoke with my husband and I said, okay, I'm going to do nothing until January. Like, in terms of, I'm not going to go look active for work. I need to take this time to really reflect on what I want. And at first it was hard. Like I couldn't sit still. And I had a coach who's like, well, just watch the leaves. I'm like, no, what? No, like I'm used to running like solid 10 hours a day. And I was supposed to sit here and just go inside my head. not cool. So it was really hard for me. Obviously, I got to do a few things in the house while I multitask, laundry and all that. But I dug in deep and I said, okay, you made the good money, which I thought was where life would take me and I'd be happy. And when I got there, I was miserable. So I was like, okay, it's not money. So what is it that's going to make you happy? And it's not an external thing. And that was firstly one thing I had to really recognize. And by external, I mean, like, it's not things, it's not money, it's not someone else, it's not a prestigious position. It's not any of those things, because I've had them all. And I went, okay, what's going on here? And when I dug in and I went, what makes me happy? And it's like, I love people. I've always loved people. And I remember always just being lit up when they were lit up. And so I realized I like helping people. I like seeing them have an aha moment or a shift in their life that has made them that much more stronger, or that's another step towards their goals or something they want in their life. And I really had to think on that for a while, because I knew I worked well with people, but I had to realize it was me lighting them up as opposed to me helping them light themselves up. So I was doing the work as opposed to helping them figure out how to do the work.
And that's super important. The difference between trying to save someone or standing beside someone and, helping them to find and discover for themselves, because we know the best answers for us.
Yes.
And it's easy for us to look from the outside in and see the problem. But the best coaching that we could possibly do is to ask the right questions.
Correct. 100%.
Yeah. So that's really awesome. So when you made the discovery, okay, first of all, that you really wanted to help people. Second of all, you made the discovery that you were trying to essentially kind of save people from themselves or their mess or whatever that was. And it was great because you could help make them feel better. It's really awesome. So when you made the shift and you started to let go, and that it became totally about helping them to discover within themselves the right answers. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Sure, I'm still on it.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lifelong one, I think.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was fun, but it was interesting for me because I was still learning to trust myself. I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I guiding them the right way? Am I saying like again, I'm questioning myself on, and it even goes as far back as like, okay, who am I to be helping these people? Like, what experience do I have? And just owning the fact that like I have so much experience. It's almost selfish of me to keep it in because I could share it with everyone. But as time went on and people started coming back to me and they're telling me like what has changed in their business or their life. I've had 2 people quit their jobs and start their own, like they're no longer employees, they're now owners and their own boss. And they're beside themselves about that decision. And that's an incredible feeling. That's what lights me up. It's not the money. It's not necessarily like all in of my coaching. It's when they come to me and I see the shift in them and that they're happy, they're excited, they're grateful. And it's just like, it's a heartfelt thing. It's no longer in my head. It's now like, okay, I know I did right. I know this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. It's nice when you find that place, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Now, the next phase of that is owning decisions and then taking action. There again,
that both of those things, owning decisions and trust, come into place to play to take the right action. Because if we're coming
Yes.
from here, if we're coming from our head, are we more likely to make the correct decision? Or when we're coming from our heart, are we more likely to make the right decision for us?
Yes. And so I know for a fact, for me, I have tested that many times.
Mm-hmm.
When I was working on different projects, my gut instantly would tell me what was wrong. And I knew when and how, but my head said no. I was right every time with my gut. Every time. I don't even have an example to say my head was right. So now I'm going, okay, listen to your gut. Obviously, it knows what it's doing. And so that was hard, especially coming from I'm a thinker, right? I'm educated. That's just kind of my line of where I was working. So now just trust my gut and just be okay with it. Because before, yeah, you'd hear it, but then you'd process it and you think about, is this right? Or is it this? And how do I do this? And how do I stack it up? Now it's like, no, what did it say? And for me to spit it out is what I'm still working on. I'm also, I know right away when my gut says something, but my mouth stops and it won't let it out. It's going ding, 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 ding. You need to say this. You need to do this. You know it's right. Own that decision. Own that that's okay. And then take action on it.
That's very powerful. And it takes, did it take you sort of stopping and going through that process before you could actually then go back and speak it out? Or was this something that just happened so fast that it was just a...
No, it took time. And even in over the last, since I've ended that last contract and the businesses I've been in, there's been things where there's screaming red flags and I still did it. And I had hard lessons out of it. And so now I'm really starting to get better at owning, as soon as it comes to my mind, I know that's what I want. And it's okay to voice it. Because I also struggled to have my own voice. I'd be like, oh, I'll be okay if we do it this way, or I'll be okay if that's how it's done, as opposed to no, this is the right way. I know it's the right way. This is how we'll be successful. I didn't have the balls to say that. And now that I do, it's a different world for me. It is a different approach to anyone, whether it's friendships, businesses, even my family. Because that's where you also family is a big part. And when there's things that aren't right, family just hides it under the carpet. It's okay. It's family, right? That's what we do. No, I don't anymore. I say it straight. And it's you know what? I'd rather communicate and where I stand than sit here quietly stewing on something that's going to eventually blow up. It always does.
And it's so much better to deal with it before it just blows up, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And you know what I'm really honing in on is that whatever I'm scared to say, 9 times out of 10, I'm the scared one. The person I'm speaking to, they're fine with whatever it is. Or they appreciate that I said that or told them or acknowledged it. So I'm okay, it's all me.
That's beautiful. I mean, it is such a process, and this is a very feminine female trait.
It is.
Exactly what we're talking about. It's the self-trust, owning the decisions, claiming those decisions, claiming our voices, taking action, and risking potential failure. But if we're really connecting to that voice, our intuition, our knowingness that so exists and it's so tired of being ignored. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's going to help a lot of people for sure. So that defining moment when you realized something was missing, because we talked about the stress in the past projects and the project management and all the corporate stuff, but the tipping point that caused that I'm getting out. What was that defining moment that, I mean, and we know as women, it's always an accumulation of stuff that we carry. And then there's then there's the straw that broke the camel's back, per se.
I think it goes back to when I had 2 months where I was sick. And I'm very strong A type, and I go. I take on more than I should. And when I didn't have a choice, like my head's going, okay, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. And my body's like, I don't care. I will cause you pain till you sit down and recover. And then when I'm going, because at the time it was happening, I was going, is this for life? Am I stuck with this pain and this uncomfortableness and this nausea and the dizziness and everything I had? I'm like,
Wow.
That was fear. And I'm going, whoa. I got so much ahead of me. I can't have this for life. And I'm grateful I recovered and I figured it out. But during that, the fact that I guess if it's the right word, took the control away from me, no, I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, amazing. And I can totally relate to that feeling. And I think that many women can, because very often I know a lot of people in the same personality type, and it's just that drive, and not stopping to do the self-care and the slowing down and all of that.
Yeah.
I love what you said. That was so important. I thought good money would make me happy. And you mentioned once you realized that money wasn't the answer, you had to dig deep to find out what you truly valued. That wasn't easy at first, but when I did it, it shifted everything in my life. So that digging deep, what did you do? Did you journal?
I did a lot of things. I had a few different coaches because again, I'm trying to figure it out. But I did journal, but not the way people traditionally journal, which I also believe in. But it was at the end of the night, I wrote down everything I'd accomplished that day. And my coach had to push me to do that. But because I wasn't acknowledging that I was doing much in a day.
Instead, you were looking at what you hadn't done yet. Is that right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's like, even if you did laundry, you did it doesn't matter. You did that. Acknowledge yourself for that. I'm like, oh, that's kind of life. She's like, no, acknowledge yourself for that. And so when I started seeing my lists of what I'm doing every day, I'm like, I am productive. I am accomplishing things. It's okay that I didn't get that to-do list done. I'll get there. But even that was a hard thing to swallow, because I like, just go, like I said. So I had coaches. I did write that down. Started taking a little bit more time for myself, because that was something I never did. Never. Like, that just wasn't my thing. I can't even believe I say that. But like, to go listen to audiobooks, or maybe I'm just going shopping on my own, or I'm going to go have a hot bath, like whatever it may be. I generally didn't do it because I had a lot of guilt also as a mom. Be like, okay, if I have an hour, I'm not going to listen to an audiobook. I'm going to go play with my kids, or I'm going to go make them a lunch, or do you know what I mean? Like, there's always to do, and it never ends. And I find that guilt is definitely not as high as it used to be. But I'm not sure I'll ever get rid of it. They're my babies, and I'm always going to want to do stuff for them. But I'm just starting to watch and starting to learn and see, as they're becoming, such incredible boys, me going, okay, gotta be doing something right here. Right? Like, it's like, they're strong, they're healthy, they're smart. We're getting all kinds of compliments because they're well-mannered. They have, they're happy with what they have. It's not like, they get their bikes, their toys, or whatever. So it's like, okay, I don't have to spend every minute that they're here with them. And it's okay that you don't. But it was just that, finding that balance of being a working mom, spending time with them, plus having to take care of the house, right?
Yeah. So the digging deep to find, you discovered a lot of things that you were doing that weren't working, and that you had to make a shift, and understanding. So for the listeners, it would be understanding that no matter what the change isn't easy.
100%.
And you're worth it.
Yes, you are worth it.
And now you feel you have a completely different perspective on life, and you're living from a more self-full, because again, it is a life's journey, because it is our
It is
natural nature to nurture,
100%.
right? So the journaling, but doing it from a perspective of what did you accomplish in a day. And again, I think that exercise is incredibly valuable for the listeners, because it is a very big habit for women to see what it is that's missing, not
Mhm.
what we've accomplished. So that self-congratulation and recognition is a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a really great tip for people. We got lots of juicy stuff for them to write down. I hope you guys are writing down and while you're listening to this. And okay, so what do you see as the next level of juicy for you? What's next? Where are you headed in the next 1, 3, or 5 years?
That's a great question. So I'm realizing through my journey that I'm a serial entrepreneur, as my lawyer calls me, which it makes sense because I knew when I switched into project management that I liked the idea of project meant I started and it had an end. It wasn't like forever. And I realized that's just my personality. I'm not meant to be in something forever. I want to start it, see it go, move on. Next. So, I mean, as you can see, I'm a co-founder of a couple of companies. One was 3 months ago. One was only the beginning of last year. So all very new. And in there, I'm also speaking and working on programs to help women. But in the next 1 to 5 years, I'll definitely have a book out. I mean, I've slowly started putting things down on paper to figure out what that's going to look like. I want to be on live stages. Obviously, everything is Zoom because of, pandemic. But eventually I'll be on live stages as well. And I will be helping and supporting women, not just kind of figuring out themselves, but the business side. So I want to help women who either have a business and need help kind of restructuring and getting it rocking, or someone who is an entrepreneur, like I've helped several, help them get out of that and shift into being their own boss. Sorry, I said entrepreneur. Sorry, I meant employee.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So starting their own business and just kind of guiding them to that whole start, and then they go, do their business, and then I just keep helping more women. And again, I say women. It doesn't have to be women. I'm happy to help men too. But I just know women intuitively don't ask for help. Also, they don't get the same treatment depending on where they are. And I can speak to that because I know I was paid less to do the same job as my male counterparts. So, I mean, I've experienced that. And I've experienced business partners who didn't want to say much to me because I was a woman. And it's kind of like, not cool. And so I want to help women to realize that's not cool. Do whatever you want. And if you have to have vendors, clients, partners, whatever it is, if they're not giving you the respect you deserve because you're a woman, get rid of them. Get rid of them. I used to hang on to so much things thinking I could change it, or it's just me. I'm just not seeing it right. No, get rid of them. There are plenty of other people out there who will support you.
That's amazing. So I know you mentioned building million and billion dollar businesses. And
Yeah.
I kind of get the feeling that you like to play in different fields, because so you for your project management, you've got real estate investing. You have, I think you have another investing thing going on in there too. That wasn't written in your bio. I'm pretty sure at least one, if not more.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. And then also now you've actually partnered with someone that's in the entertainment field. So you're now doing a full service entertainment. So would that be like managers for people that are vocalists or actors, agents, all that kind of
So that is definitely one of the things we do under the umbrella. So we call it, so we have record labels, talent, which is what you're referring to, managing talent,
Mm-hmm.
TV shows, magazine, publishing. So just think of the umbrella, everything in the entertainment world. And it's very unique. It's an industry I never, ever thought I'd be in.
And so how did that happen?
Actually, the lady I partnered with, the CEO of MUPO Entertainment, she was on calls that I was doing for rich ladies back when I was doing that program. And then she was on other calls with one of my coaches, who is Richard Dolan. And through there, we got to know each other. And it's funny, she was looking for a co-host because she interviews celebrities. And I reached out to her to just see if everything was okay, because I knew her and I knew her co-host. And when we were chatting, she just asked me, she goes, "Can you read a script?" And I was like, yes, I can. That was before I would have been like, I've never done that before. No, I don't think so. But nope, my gut said, you can do it. You figure it out later. And so now, since June, I've been her co-host interviewing celebrities. And then once I joined that, I just realized she needed help on the business side. Yeah.
So you've stepped into that side of it. That's really awesome. So is it a podcast or is it a TV show or?
TV show.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And what kind of celebrities?
It all depends. Right now, I'd say they're more like I think they call them B celebrities. So like last week we aired our interview with Randy Spelling, which is Tori's brother. He's been in different shows and movies. He's now a coach himself. We're airing this Sunday. I'm going to probably butcher his name, but it's like Theo Paglias. And he's in Days of Our Lives. He's been in it for years. So anyone who's a fan of that show, you'll know who he is. Next week, we're interviewing Dee Dee Pfeiffer, which is Michelle Pfeiffer's sister. So it's stars who are in shows, but they may not be the ones we know as what they call an A-lister, I guess.
And so what's the focus of the show by interviewing celebrities?
It's to find out things you want to know.
Huh?
So we usually dig in and we learn more about them. But almost every time we've either got them on a, wow, you've dug deep to find that, or you caught me. Like, I don't even know how to respond to this. So we try to pull out something new from them that you wouldn't necessarily know for their fans too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Fun. So as a closing piece, can you share a personal daily habit that you do that continues to contribute to your success? And I'm going to add to that, your success and dealing with your stress.
Absolutely. I get up at 6 a.m. every morning, and I mean Sunday through Saturday. Weekends are included, and I work out.
What do you do?
I do a combination of cardio, weights, and then I have 1 day of yoga and 1 day of Pilates. So they're more like an active rest day, if you will, doing yoga, right? It's more just stretching and calming the mind, because the body isn't meant, in my opinion, to work out hard every day. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I find when I'm done, whatever workout I'm doing, I'm just like, I've like invigorated my body. I can now move on to my day. I'm a morning person. That's why I get up at 6, but also I get in and I'm done before anyone in my household is up. So then I don't have to worry, because I know if I wait till later, I will have any excuse you can find to not work out. So, I mean, do it for the time that it works for you. And I know some people are like, no, I have to do it in the evening, which is great. But that works for me because it helps, like you said, de-stress. It helps increase endorphins. And obviously, working out is good for you no matter how you look at it. Mm-hmm. But it also just helps with strength, right? As we get older, things shift and things change. And I've noticed like my strength changed, especially after babies. And I was like, well, no. So I just work on it to maintain my health and the strength that I have right now.
Yep.
So that I can still do things when I'm in my 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. And
it is.
And as we go through life. It's easy to not do it, and it's actually easy to do it once you're in it. So it's not
Yes.
about, well, I need to take a break from working out. I've worked out pretty much my whole adult life, and the longest vacation I took, I think, was 3 weeks, and that was because I'd hurt myself.
Mhm.
And then the last year, it's been different. I've had to figure out different ways, and I'm still working on it. So remembering for everyone that's on the show, because of all the really awesome things that you shared, it is a lifelong journey.
It
It's
is.
not going to be over. There's a continuation, there's a deepening, there's a widening, there's an up leveling piece that goes with it. And so your personality type and what it is that the listeners, I'm speaking to the listeners now, your personality type may choose to do whatever workout that is for you, whether it's dance. For my husband, he doesn't like going to the gym, but he loves to play hockey and he
Yep.
loves to ride bike.
Perfect.
So whatever your joy is that gets you moving is what's key.
100%.
Yeah. So that's great. And I think there's some great tips and points that have happened through this podcast. It's really awesome. We didn't even have to finish with one because it was full. But I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank Jessilyn for taking the time out, and I really want to honor that. And thank you everyone for listening to Your Juiciest Life Ever. And remember, you are a miracle. We'll see you on the next one. Have an amazing day.